and 'tis I was outside gardening. And so I thought of something. I thought, no more weeds in my garden. So I talked about this before, but within the last 2 years since we've been married for almost four, I have been clearing out buckthorn, about half of an acre of buckthorn. If anyone knows about buckthorn, it's a pain in the butt. So anyways, I was cleaning out buckthorn and I wanted to pull out all the weeds so I'd have a canvas in order to plant a beautiful wildflower garden and a place that would attract birds and butterflies and all that. And I thought, if we apply that to life and we look at weeds as people that are invasive, that don't respect your time, space, body, your heart, soul, mind, etc., those are weeds. And when you consider yourself a garden and you're planning on growing and flourishing, you have to make sure not to allow weeds to plant themselves amongst you. And so someone messaged me today and said that a family member stopped by and was reaming her out about estrangement. And this is the thing, that person's a weed. And they don't belong in your garden because they don't respect your time, space, etc. But what you have to do is you have to use your voice and say, let's talk about something else. That's it. Or, most important, if someone's been a challenge your entire life, you don't have to open your door for them because they don't pay your mortgage or taxes. I'll give you an example of my own personal experience. My maternal grandmother lived to 100, and she was the matriarch, and you did what you were told, and she was very kind and loving, but if she made a request of you, you kind of just did it. And so when my daughter's estranged years and years ago, my grandma would always bring it up. If I finally had to say, Grandma, let's talk about something else, because talking about this really brings about stress and sadness, and let's just talk about you and me. What is your favorite donut? That's just the way it is. So you can change a weed back into a flower. Just kidding. My grandma's like a million roses. She's no longer here, but I love her. And so, just kind of a couple of other examples. My husband, before we met, his one sister and her husband would come up to visit him every year and park their Rockstar RV in his driveway. We have a space for a couple of vehicles, and their RV takes up that space. And he said, we had met in May, right before my birthday, and he said, my sister and her husband come with their 3 dogs during the 4th of July week. They stay for a week, and just wanted to let you know. And I said, oh, because of my PTSD due to trauma, I said to him, I don't know. I take people in small doses. I love them, and then I go home and I rest. So a couple hours of visiting is good for me, and that's it. But after a couple hours, I don't know what to say. And when you're in my house, I want to entertain, and I stop doing what I have to do to take care of you. And that's just the way it is. So I said, I don't know. And sure enough, it was a lot. Um, they live a very different life. I'm very quiet. They like to party and this and that, and they have 3 dogs that sit on your lap and eat off of your plate. And our dogs don't do that. So it was a challenge. And so I cried. I got through it. And I told my husband, I said, I can't do this again. I said, if they come again, I'm going to stay at a hotel and you can have your visit. And I said, better yet, why don't you let them know from now on, now that our house is full and there's no more room at the inn, why don't you have them stay at the campground in town? And they can come and visit, or we can go visit them. And he said, my sister doesn't accept the word no. And I said, oh, then I thought, oh, she's a weed. And so he told her no, and World War III broke out. It was a nightmare. And they said to my husband, we know who wears the pants in your family. And they haven't talked ever since. So it's just the way it is. I love his mom, his other sister I'm close to, but this one sister. So anyways, I'm not saying I won, but my garden, there's no room in my garden for weeds. So then another situation came up where my husband and I met. I moved in fairly quickly, and my husband has a best friend who's a super nice guy, but I didn't know him. And I'm retired. My husband goes to work, and best friend was stopping by when my husband was at work to drop something off or say hi. I'm the kind of person, you come over, I drop everything I'm doing to entertain you and make sure you're comfortable. Well, then I have to stop so I could talk with his best friend, and I don't know what to say. So I said to my husband, I said, can you let him know to call and make sure you're home before he comes over? And my husband said, well, this is my house. I said, well, no, this is our house. I'm just not comfortable. And I'm not trying to be a brat or spoiled. I want to get to know him, but he's not my friend. And just the way it is. So then we work that out. So it's never too late to change your mind and make your home a place that makes you comfortable. I don't have time to visit. I'm busy. I have a million and one things to do. So, anyways, don't plant weeds in your garden. Your home is your safe space. You don't have to open the door. You don't have to answer the phone. Simply just don't. I'm going to close with this. Years ago, my aunt and uncle, my dad's brother and his wife, I love them. They're just precious. And I just recently reminded him of this, and he didn't remember saying this. But, anyways, my aunt and uncle got married. She had a son, and they get pregnant and they end up having triplets. My aunt was a stay-at-home mom, and obviously, and my uncle had to go to work, and they had to eat. So my uncle said, I don't care if you're knocking on that door, and I'm sitting right opposite this door in my chair. If you are not invited, I am not opening this door. Okay. And good reason for it, because they had triplets and they needed to schedule around the babies. And he set boundaries early on. So I just wanted to say it's really important to set boundaries. Don't plant weeds in your garden. It's never too late to say, oh, this doesn't work for me. Or if you're living with your spouse and they don't respect you, say, you know what? If they come over, I'm taking off. I'm not comfortable with this anymore. And actually, I never was, because they've never been kind to me. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope this helps, and I'll be back.